Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danny the Phantom and I am back at it again with another tutorial, fresh off of my masculine makeup tutorial. From here, I'm going to be showing you guys how I do my eyeliner and cel shading. If you haven't already, go take a look at my masculine makeup tutorial in order to see the basis of how I do masculine makeup. From here, I'm going to be exaggerating it in order to really make it pop whenever I do cel shading. All right, without further ado, let's get to it. So to start out, like I said, I'm going to be exaggerating my eye makeup. This makes it a little bit easier for the cel shading to really pop. So right here, I'm just gonna deepen that pocket of my eye, and really, it's gonna look cakey, it's gonna look gross. It's not gonna look right normally, but we're not trying to look right. We're trying to look like a cartoon character. And that's really how we vibe here today. From here, I really darken underneath my nose and hit the points that really emphasize themselves. Alright, now that I look like an actual raccoon, we're going to start on the cel shading. Now for this, I'm going to be using the liquid felt tip liner by Tarte called Sex Kitten. And this little felt tip liner gives you a crap ton of control and makes sure that you get the very fine lines that you need. I always start roughly with my eyes, and I'm going to let the voiceover take over from here just so that I can focus on doing the makeup and I can describe it later. So I always start by outlining my nose, making sure to use very thin, even lines as close as I can. From there, I'll do individual lines stretching out across my eyebrow, making sure to darken the point just where it meets my nose line. That way, when the lines convene, it doesn't look a little sloppy. I'll go about to the point of my eyebrow, and from there, I'll just do individual lines going down. I don't go too far down my nose because the contour usually takes over from there. Now I add lines to the sides of my nose just to provide a little bit of extra shadow. Anywhere where there's light shadow, you want to do small, very light lines. Anytime there's darker shadows, you want to use very compressed lines that are very consistent throughout. So right here, I'm only doing half my philtrum. I now outline my lips, giving a little bit of shading right underneath just to provide a little bit more of a focus there. Now I'm outlining my upper lip and putting very small lines there because the upper lip is a little bit further pressed back and does provide a little bit of shadow. Now I'm going to put thick lines anywhere there's supposed to be contour points, and any lighter contour points will use small individual lines. I do my chin. I outline my jawline, make sure I put a little lines by my chin just to make it pop a little bit more. And from there, I do add a little bit more lines just to fill some empty spaces and fill in any places that I might have missed prior. All right, and from here, we're gonna actually start on my eyes, and I'm gonna start doing my eyeliner how I always do. I don't really have any tips for eyeliner. Generally, just look at the character and see how their eyes are drawn and try to recreate that with your own eyes. This is more of a free form, so I'm just making a flatter looking line to make my eyes look a little bit less wide for a more masculine character. And from there, I'm just going to contour using cel shading right underneath. From here, I just add anywhere that I feel like it would be useful. A little bit in my corners to make me look like I have dark circles. A few lines down my nose. And then I also put lines on my eyes themselves to give the illusion of them being drawn in. And now we're gonna cel shade our eyebrows because that's JoJo's for you, baby. For my brows, I literally just go back in and go where my eyebrows are drawn. With the natural line of my hair, I will draw individual lines that flow the same way as that eyebrows do. This is something I constantly forget whenever I'm doing my makeup, but if you take a lighter color closer to your skin and really highlight on your eye and make it pop out, it really adds another depth to it that looks very cartoony. Next up, I'm going to put eyeliner on my waterline all the way across to really make my eyes stand out and to get that very drawn in effect. Now I go back in and fill in any places that I feel need to be filled in by adding small individual lines at the darker contour points, and from there I go in and cel shade my neck. I draw in the 2 largest lines of the tendons in my neck, and I cel shade underneath my chin to provide that darkest shadow right where that is, drawing a line where they end, usually because that's what Araki usually does whenever he cel shades his JoJo characters. Alright, and that's basically it. That is how I do my cel shading. It kind of differentiates between each character, and I usually look up a reference photo just to be sure I'm getting the right angles. It's always good to use a reference photo. It's always good to look into a few different tutorials, see what works best for your face. There's plenty of stuff out there, so don't just settle on one thing. Play around a little bit. Practice makes perfect, as with all makeup. And everything you do in life, practice makes perfect. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button down below. If you'd like to see more from me, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to know when I post next. If you'd like to see more of my cosplay, please consider checking out my Instagram @thephantoum. And if you want to see a little bit behind the scenes and what goes on in my weird brain, go check out @thephantoumcause on Twitter. As usual, I'll have the list of the products I use down in the description below, as well as a link to the original tutorial of how I did masculine makeup in order to get here. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I am Danny the Phantoum, and I hope you have a good one. Bye!